So this week we're going to review last week with pictures. So it's going to be fun and it should stick in your head. So last week we talked about um, coming to a place of discerning the difference between um, our ego mind and our um, high self, our awareness of being. So as we're moving through our life here, we each have a unique personal human life journey. And this is our human life that will never be repeated. Even if you go and come back, it's totally different. So this is the magical gift that you get. So we're learning to tune up and begin to tap into the power that we have to create and to have joy and peace and happiness and fulfillment of our dreams, and the evolution of our soul while we're here. We all belong. Every single one of us belongs, and we all have our own authentic journey. So, our life path, of course, is one that will express the beauty, truth, and magic of us, um, and and that flows forth from our heart. So, tapping into beginning to understand that we are not our mind, we are actually um, an awareness of being first. And just going to mute. So um, when we come here, we are aware of being before we're aware of being like Audrey. So my awareness of being is eternal. My eternal self is is inhabiting this body at this point in time, but my eternal self lives forever, eternally, and so it is aware of being me right now, but the awareness of being, it is first aware of being its divine self, its aspect of divinity that it is, and then it comes and inhabits my body, and you're all in your body. So we learn to through life and upbringing and all kinds of stuff, we learn to really spend a lot of time in our thinking mind. So uh, we're gonna just review, and we've met this guy before. He's like really fun, this universal superhero. This is our superhero. We've seen this one before. So there's two places to live from. There's the ego mind up here, which has all your experiences and all of your opinions, your perspectives, everything that you think about yourself, your value, and all of that is up here in your ego mind. And here in your heart space is your divine high self. And we really are this, but we've learned to live up here and really depend on our mind and our thoughts and our training and our experience. And we have given the brain a job that's not really its job. Its job is to catalog and to provide data and information and to hardwire programs into us so that we don't have to work so hard in day-to-day life and we can keep evolving. So the mind can it can drop down to the heart center and to the awareness of being. The awareness of being doesn't need to go up to the mind. It doesn't need it at all. It can live happily without the thoughts of the mind. So the thoughts in our brain, whether they're seen or unseen, they create emotions. Emotions are energy, and energy is a beacon of attraction, and like attracts like. So in our superhuman, in his brain, her brain, is all the unknowns of life, the questions, the programming, culture, tribe, social media, um, needing to control, our teachings, our fears. Will I have enough? Will I be successful? What will people think of me? Or do these jeans make my butt look big? All of that questions, habits. Am I pretty? Am I not pretty? Am I handsome? Will I find someone to love me? The history, all our concerns about money, our concept of ourselves, and the lies and hurts and things that we want to avoid. All of that is running around in the brain, and the brain's capacity to solve any of those problems or answer any of those questions is limited to experience and teaching. So there's nothing new, and it's very limited. It's a small box. So when we live inside the small box, we're trapped in there, and we're not getting input to create something different. So all of these questions and thoughts and ideas can create anxiety and fear, a strain, confusion, a sense of, who am I and where am I going? Or I have to work real hard to prove myself and be accepted. So living from this place is aging, and it's not going to be satisfying, because there will always be more questions, always be more unknowns, more fears, all of that. So up here, all of these fantastic things are only real to you. They're only real to you. They only exist because you give them attention. They're not real. They're real to you, but that's not everybody else's reality. And maybe some of it is, or some of it isn't, but it's only real because you are giving it attention and you have assigned value to it. All of these concepts and ideas come down and they bounce off our heart awareness. They can't penetrate, they don't belong there, and there's nothing goes down. And the heart space, our awareness of being, has no problems. So living from ego mind makes all things seem really big, really hard. I got to work really hard. I got to do something. I got to wait. I got to do all this stuff. And it becomes really huge. All of this stuff is huge. And this is smog, ego mind smog. And so down here, if you even have a concept of awareness, it can be so clouded out by this smog and this pressure and this activity that it is so small or non-existent to you. It seems so far away. It seems impossible, almost invisible, and it doesn't make sense because of all this static up here that is in opposition to that. And this coming into this space involves us to need to surrender and to find silence. Learn to find the silence in our awareness of being. Most of our life, we're up in the head. And then we start delayering to get down into where we need to be living from, where all the power is, right? Where all the power is. Our awareness of being is in our eternal soul. We have access to it all the time. It has no problems. It is unlimited. It has zero judgment. All things are possible. There's surprises and magic, all potentials. We have freedom, high emotions. We have a knowing that we know, even if we don't know how we know. It's easy. Initially, building the relationship, becoming aware of our awareness, being disciplined to begin to bring that to the forefront doesn't feel easy. But when we're there, we can drop in, we can become aware, we can bring our awareness there, and we can get clarity. We can feel love and joy and protection, that our needs are met, guidance, serendipity, peace. All of this is our divine life energy. This is our true identity. The mind was given to us, the ego mind, to make life easier through programming our brain with habitual behaviors, right? And we've learned that it also programs habitual thoughts and emotions that we don't want. So we have to prune and retrain. But in our perfect state, we have access to divine nature. We are divine nature. We have all that we desire in clarity and support and love. And there's no fear, there's no doubt, there's no confusion. So how do we get to where we can, our heart space can be much bigger? Our awareness of being is more dominant than our way of thinking. So we start by developing our meditation, developing our relationship, right? Finding ways to make the connection and build on that connection. As we spend time in our awareness of being, then we develop trust. And that's a big one. And we talked about that a couple weeks ago. Developing the trust that we are taken care of, that we are protected, that we are deeply and profoundly loved, and there is a beautiful path for our life, and we can pursue it with success. We can't have that without the relationship. We can think about it and we can say in my mind, I have trust. But when the rubber meets the road and you are in a situation where you don't have all the answers, because we don't get all the answers, we don't get this enormous roadmap, we get what we need. And we get what we need, and we need to perform to that. And then we evolve as we perform to that, and then we get more of what we need, right? But we can't level jump because we have to grow through stages of relationship development, getting back into our awareness of being, trusting in spirit, hearing the voice of spirit, however you hear it, and obeying, taking action on the voice of spirit, right? The voice of spirit is always true, never confusing, never dark, never judgmental. It's always love, and it's always about us growing and evolving, because our journey is about us. It is not about anybody else. The life that we birth forth and bring forth out of our human existence will touch and bless people. The energy will touch and bless people. We try to go find something to do, but this is being is what we're doing, and coming into our awareness of being and that, then we are closer and closer into divine presence, and there's more opportunity for that to flow through us. And then we find the joy of our heart, we find the love of our life, we fall deeply in love with ourself, right? And we begin to pursue a life of joy, trust, and happiness. This awareness of being becomes our go-to. It becomes where we're living more than, and so the heart is big and the brain is small. Instead of the brain thoughts being enormous and the awareness of being hidden in there somewhere. And our awareness of being does not need to talk to the mind or run a conversation by the mind to validate. Our awareness of being is aware, I can see something beautiful. I don't have to go, that's beautiful sunset. You don't have to say anything. But we've trained ourselves that way. So we feel like we can't do anything without this cycle going through our brain. But our awareness of being doesn't need that. So as we possess our divine nature by more and more, by becoming familiar, by spending time, we develop our unique experience with spirit, universe, then we expand and we fulfill our potential without fear. We embrace our beautiful soul journey. We have courage to step out of the norm and press in the direction that we believe our life is going. And we find the magic and excitement as we go. So it is the brain becomes a worker bee, like it's intended to do. And we begin to live from this magical place of heart and spirit. And we have a communication back and forth. So, how to discern in our life where we're living from? A lot of it you can discern through your emotions. How am I feeling? How, like I said last week, any thought that causes you to feel bad or judgmental about yourself or another is an ego mind thought. Any thought that causes confusion and doubt is an ego mind thought. Any thought that makes things seem so hard and complicated is probably an ego mind thought. When spirit leads us into the fulfillment of our life expression, we are being led beautifully and gently along the way. The dust and struggle is our choosing, going against ego mind, because we're being led down a garden path. We're being with grace and provision, but in our mind we think I didn't want it to look like this. It should look like that. And here's what I want to do. And I need something to do. And this doesn't look like other people's stuff. And, I'm confused. I really wanted it to look like this. And now you're pointing this. And so, I want that. And so that's not a relationship. So the time that we spend is really finding out where we're living from and how we're living, and then opening up to a deep personal communion, and then following the breadcrumbs as they come along. So you've all been on this journey with me. I know what I'm talking about. I wanted things to look different, to be different when that's been a couple years. but I have come to a place of surrender and trust. And it is a challenge to trust in the inner being, because at that point you're not trusting in your senses like we've been accustomed to, and we're not trusting in all the concepts of what people think we should be doing or how we've been trained, or you got to work and do all this stuff. And I was talking to somebody I had just met, and I said, yeah, it's been a journey of it feels like a long time. And I said it, and she looked at me and she said, yeah, but you've been taken care of. And I said, I absolutely have, every step of the way. I haven't had lack. I haven't been unprovided for. And as I was gently, lovingly taken care of on this journey, I allowed myself to let my guard down. I allowed myself to open my heart over and over and over again. I looked into the mirror of life and I trusted that that even if I didn't like everything I saw, that's not who I was. And I began to listen to the voice of spirit and surrender to the guidance. Then it became easy. And my life looks crazy. I know that. Um, but I'm joyful with it and I'm on the path that's mine, right? So, and it's unfolding. And as it's unfolding, I'm surrendering and surrendering. So the process of surrender and union and trust is it's not a concept we decide, yeah, I'm going to trust and I'm going to surrender. It's a willingness to say, like, life is a mirror showing me how I am being. And when I see how I am being in relation to my high self or my aware self, then I adjust into my aware self. I become more loving, more open, more gracious, more kind, right? More empowered, more free, less barriers, and more empowered to walk through and live in the life that's mine. So it is a big shift to start to discern, is this my thinking mind? And your thinking mind is going to just be yelling at you, or is this, what is my inner self saying? What's my inner self saying, right? And um, and then being willing to take the chance to surrender into the inner self and to make that choice, knowing that everything you need is here for you. Everything. This is the land of all possibility. This is our easel that we create our life from. Right now, if we're all up in our head, we create our life out of our brain and the energy around the emotions that are happening there, which is the process of growing and surrendering out of here and down into here is getting separate from the ego mind and the thought process and open into our freedom and our awareness of pure love and our awareness of unconditional love and provision and joy for life and love for life and peace and all is well in my world, even if it's not I surrender my concept of what I thought it was supposed to be. I'm going to get somewhere way better than I was thinking. So this is what we talked about last week, and then just a review with my pictures to give you kind of an idea. So my favorite cartoon. We want to be living from here, not from here. This is the toolbox. This is the master creator. Toolbox creator. Problems, fears, doubts, anxiety, peace, love, joy, love for life. So that is my review. And practice this week. You can practice going, what am I feeling inside, and what's causing that? What thought is causing that feeling? And what's the truth? Like, because a lot of time we're feeling like stress or anxiety, because stress and anxiety and fear and doubt, those are all born within the individual and they're kept alive there. And we didn't come with that. We came with the high attributes. When we have low level emotions, low vibration emotions, those are coming out of thoughts of a fear of something we don't want, lack, loss, pain, suffering. And in reality, that energy will bring you what you are, generating energy towards, if you're in there long enough. So, starting to discern, how am I feeling? Am I feeling peace and joy? If I am not, and I'm feeling anxious or afraid, what am I afraid of? What is the thought behind that? And we ask clarity. We ask for clarity from spirit. Show me the process. Show me what I am thinking. Show me what is causing this emotion that I don't want. And then when we see it, when we're given that answer, then we need to take action. Because we're in a partnership, and truth is always better than a lie, and the high level emotions are truth. So I need to change my belief system. I need to change my, why am I afraid of that? If the truth is I'm taken care of, then why am I feeding and nurturing the thoughts of, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be left wanting? Right. And settle that, and then replace it with, truth. So, we're learning, we're getting back into who we are, and reattaching to the relationship. The divine is seeking us out continuously. It's chasing us down with open arms, saying, I love you so much. I love you, and I delight in everything about you. There's nothing about you I don't delight in. I want to just lavish you with love and presence, clarity and peace, joy. I want you to reach your soul's fulfillment, to really be on the path of the fulfillment of your life, that this beautiful life that you are, that we are together. That's the divine. There's no hardness or judgment. There's no looking away, or, we don't have to get right. We need to open up. The divine is saying, let me love you. Let me love you. What does that look like? Find out. So, any comments, questions?
As rudimentary as your pictures are, awesome, because it separates.
Mm-hmm.
And to see the separation, it gives clarity. And even just thinking, like when you said, think about your emotions and where they're coming from and what they're, that's the mind stuff so like, yes, I know there's a lot of mind stuff that goes on in my head. I live from my mind. I know I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning. But that's really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
To actually say, okay, like isolate the emotion and what are you afraid of? What are, where is it coming from? And then trying to figure it's just, I don't know how else to say it, but it clarified it for me.
It really does. The picture helps.
It does.
It really does.
But thank you. That was good.
You're welcome. And when we start to, like, just in your mind, when we're going into meditation, if you're just like this bubble, we're going to drop into this bubble. Like, sometimes the concept opens the door to the experience when we get it. Okay. if there's nothing else, then we're going to do a short meditation with our awareness, and then I'll post this by tomorrow if you want to review it on YouTube, and then we'll see you next week with a new topic, another step. So close your eyes. Feel your body, in the chair. If you're walking, just settle your mind, settle your attention inside yourself. Find a natural rhythm to your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Letting it soften you and relax you.